All right, so are you ready to really get into how to prepare for a casting director interview?
Let's do it.
Because we're going to use these awesome resources from RoleCatcher,
Yeah.
their career guide and their interview guide,
Okay.
and even get into some of their AI tools
Sounds great.
to kind of give you a sneak peek into what the interviewer is thinking.
Yeah, I love that idea.
Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about, even before we get to the specific questions that they ask,
Yeah.
is that RoleCatcher has this really great breakdown of the different stages
Mm.
of a casting director's career.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, I learned a thing or two just reading this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I worked in this world, as an actor and stuff, but I didn't really know
Right.
how, from being like a casting assistant all the way up to, casting the next big Marvel movie,
Right.
like what that trajectory looks like.
Yeah, and knowing that trajectory and the different stages can really help you position yourself in the interview.
Absolutely. So like, let's say you're fresh out of college
Mm-hmm.
and you're interviewing for maybe your first job as like a, assistant or something.
Right.
What this guide really emphasizes is that you need to highlight certain skills.
Yeah.
And it's like the core skills that any casting team needs, right? It's like organization,
Yeah.
a really sharp eye for detail and, that eagerness to learn.
Yeah, and I think it's important to show them that you're reliable,
Absolutely.
even if it's not glamorous at first.
Right. It's like you're the one who's staying up late, making sure every headshot is in the right place,
Exactly.
getting all the paperwork together, like really showing that you're ready to jump in.
Yeah, and if you're going for a more senior role, of course, you're not going to be highlighting that as much. You're going to be talking more about, your vision and your leadership and,
Right. It's like
collaborating with big personalities and that kind of thing.
you've got the experience. Now you got to show them like what your vision is.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So should we get into some actual interview questions?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited.
All right. So RoleCatcher has this awesome list of, the top 10 interview questions that you're most likely to encounter.
Right.
So we're going to go through each one and kind of unpack not just, what to say, but like the thinking behind it.
Yes, let's dive in.
Okay. So question number 1, and it's such a classic.
Okay.
It's that dreaded what inspired you to become a casting director.
Ooh, yeah.
And I feel like so many people stumble on this one, like they try to sound super artsy or something.
Yeah, and it can sound really vague, like,
Yeah.
oh, I love movies. Like, that doesn't really tell them anything about you.
Exactly. But what they really want to know is, why you are passionate about this particular job.
Yes, it's about the process of casting,
Right.
not just the end result.
So think about like a specific moment that sparked that interest.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember reading this interview with the casting director of Parasite,
Okay.
and she talked about how she found this incredible unknown actor to play the father. And it just made me realize like, wow, casting can truly make or break a film.
Absolutely.
And like there's so much power
Yeah.
in finding that right person for the role.
Yes. And when you tell a story like that, it makes you more memorable
Totally.
and it shows you to really understand the impact of great casting.
Now, wouldn't it be amazing if you could actually like practice your answer and get feedback on it
That would be awesome.
before you even walked into that interview room?
Yes.
Well, that's where RoleCatcher's AI comes in.
Oh, tell me more.
So they have this interview practice tool
Okay.
where you can actually record yourself answering the question.
Oh, wow.
And then it gives you AI-powered feedback
That's amazing.
that's specifically tailored to the job that you're applying for.
So it's like having a casting director in your pocket.
Literally.
Wow. I love it.
Okay, let's move on to question number 2. So how do you stay current with industry trends and the latest casting techniques?
Ooh, good one.
So this is all about showing that you're not, stuck in the past.
Yeah, you got to demonstrate that you are proactive and continuously learning.
Right. But don't just say, oh, I read industry publications.
No, be specific,
Exactly. Like name them.
Yeah.
Like what blogs do you read?
Yeah.
What podcasts do you listen to?
Yeah.
Are you like secretly obsessed with casting director TikTok?
Right. And what social media accounts are you following to stay ahead of the curve?
Like I'm imagining, you're really into this podcast that interviews up-and-coming actors.
Yeah.
Or you're religiously following this casting director who's known for championing diversity.
That's a great example.
Like that shows that you're not just aware of the trends, but you're engaged in the conversation.
And, if you've experimented with any new casting techniques or technology, like you've used virtual reality to conduct auditions or something like that,
Ooh, that's cool.
that would really make you stand out.
Absolutely. All right, now this next one is a biggie,
Okay.
especially these days. Can you describe your approach to casting for diverse roles?
Yeah, that's a really important one.
It feels like it's so much more than just saying, oh yeah, I believe in diversity.
It is, you need to have concrete examples
Yeah.
of how you have actually championed inclusivity in your work.
Yeah.
Like, have you actually sought out actors from underrepresented communities?
Yeah.
Have you made sure that your audition process is free of bias?
Those are great questions to ask yourself.
And I think it's not just about good intentions.
No,
It's about like demonstrating a clear methodology.
absolutely.
So think about like a specific project where you made a conscious effort to prioritize diversity and what was the impact.
Yes, and don't be afraid to name specific organizations you've partnered with
Right.
or outreach initiatives you've spearheaded, you know.
Or even like casting choices that challenge traditional norms.
Exactly.
Now, what if you're like, I don't know how to really articulate this experience?
Oh, I bet RoleCatcher can help
They can.
with their AI.
So you can actually input your past projects into their system,
Wow.
and it's going to analyze them.
And highlight the aspects that align with the values and priorities of the specific company you're interviewing with.
So it's like a personalized PR team for your career.
Yes.
I love that.
Okay, question number 4. How do you work with producers and directors to ensure their vision is realized through casting?
Ooh, that's all about collaboration.
Yes, especially when you've got like big personalities involved.
Right, you need to be able to listen to everyone
Yeah.
and understand all the different perspectives and then translate that into casting choices.
Yeah, because filmmaking is a collaborative art,
Yes.
but there are times when, you might have creative differences.
Right, you might have this brilliant actor in mind, but the director has a totally different idea.
Exactly. So how do you navigate those situations?
Diplomacy and communication are key.
Yes.
Share an anecdote you know about a time when you had to navigate a creative clash.
Like, did you find a compromise?
Right.
How did you advocate for your choices while still respecting the director's vision?
Exactly, because you have to find that sweet spot where everyone feels heard
Right.
and the final casting elevates the project.
And that is what makes a great casting director.
It does.
It's that ability to balance the creativity, the collaboration, and that deep understanding of what makes a story truly come alive.
I love that.
This is great stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a lot more interview questions to get through, but we're not going to take a break. We're just going to keep right on rolling.
Awesome. Let's do it.
So stay tuned.
Okay, so let's jump into the next batch of questions.
Right, so question number 5 is all about your process.
Oh, okay.
It's that question, can you describe your process for casting a role?
Yeah.
And this is where you really get to like geek out a little
Yes.
and show off your organization skills.
So this is your chance to walk them through your casting playbook.
Exactly.
Step by step.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to get super specific. Like, what tools do you use? How do you analyze scripts?
Yeah.
How do you structure auditions to get the most out of actors?
I'm picturing like a giant whiteboard with sticky notes and like lines connecting actors' headshots
You know,
to different scenes.
I love it.
Is that too much?
Not at all. It shows you're organized.
Okay.
You have a system. And that is crucial when you're juggling hundreds of actors and scripts and deadlines.
Absolutely.
So if you use a particular software for tracking submissions or you have a unique way of creating character breakdowns, this is the time to mention it.
So it's not just about saying I'm organized. It's like proving it with actual examples.
Now, let's say you're worried your process might sound a little too analog.
Oh, yeah.
A little too old school.
Right.
Well, RoleCatcher's AI can actually add a modern edge.
Tell me more about this.
Okay, so their CV and resume builder,
Okay.
it doesn't just format your resume, it analyzes it.
Wow.
And it highlights the keywords and skills that align with that specific role.
Oh, that's so smart.
Right. So even if you haven't explicitly stated that you're a master of, whatever, casting software,
Right.
the AI can pick up on relevant experience from your previous roles and showcase it.
That's amazing.
I know, it's like having a digital assistant
It is.
that knows exactly what casting directors are looking for.
I love that. Okay, moving on to question number 6. How do you handle difficult or challenging actors during the casting process?
Oh, boy.
I feel like we all dread this question a little bit.
Yeah, not everyone in Hollywood is a ray of sunshine.
No, they're not, and we've all heard the stories.
Right, exactly. But this question is not a trap.
Okay.
It's an opportunity
Mm-hmm.
to showcase your diplomacy,
Okay.
your conflict resolution skills,
Yes.
and how you stay professional under pressure.
Because you're dealing with, big egos and diva demands and, maybe even a few tantrums.
Exactly.
So think about a specific situation where you had to, navigate a tricky actor encounter.
Yeah, did you have an actor who was constantly late?
Yeah.
Or maybe someone who argued with your feedback?
I once heard a story about a casting director who had to deal with an actor who brought their pet parrot to the audition. And apparently the parrot kept squawking the lines.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was a whole thing.
Well, that highlights, the unexpected challenges
Right.
that can arise in this job.
That's true.
So the key is to focus on how you maintain that respectful atmosphere. You communicate clearly and you find a solution that benefits everyone.
So it's not about like handling these difficult actors.
Right.
It's about turning it into a positive experience.
Well, exactly. And that is a skill that will serve you well
That's true.
in any leadership position.
Okay, question number 7. How do you ensure the casting process is fair and objective?
Oh, that's a really good one.
And this one I feel like has become even more important in recent years.
It has. It's not just about being nice.
Right.
It's about demonstrating that you understand the weight of your decision and that you take a principled approach to casting.
Yeah, because you're dealing with people's livelihoods.
Right.
Their
Big
dreams.
themes, exactly.
So you have to show that you're committed to a process that's transparent,
Yes,
equitable,
absolutely.
and free of bias.
So how do you eliminate that bias?
Yeah.
Do you blind resumes during initial reviews? Do you use standardized criteria for evaluating actors?
And what about, in ensuring diversity? Do you actively seek out talent from underrepresented communities? Do you have a system for tracking your outreach efforts?
Those are great questions to think about.
And don't be afraid to get specific. Like if you implemented a software program,
Yeah.
that helps with blind casting, mention it.
If you partner with organizations that promote diversity in the arts, talk about it.
Because it's about showing that you're not just paying lip service to fairness and objectivity.
Right.
You're actually taking steps to make sure that it's woven into your process.
And that commitment to ethical practices is something that any reputable production company is going to value.
Absolutely. All right, question number 8. How do you balance creative vision with budget constraints when casting for a project?
The eternal struggle.
It's like the reality of filmmaking.
Yeah. This question is about showing that you can be creative and strategic.
Yeah.
That you can find that sweet spot where artistic vision meets financial reality.
Because in an ideal world, we'd have unlimited budgets to cast our dream actors.
Right. But that's not always the case.
So how do you get creative with an unlimited budget?
Yeah. Have you considered using up-and-coming talent instead of, a big name? Or did you find a way to repurpose existing footage?
Maybe you found this incredible actor through a local theater company.
Yeah.
Or you made a smaller role feel more impactful through your casting choices.
Exactly. It's all about showing that you can think outside the box.
Yeah.
And, you might even uncover some incredible new talent in the process.
Now, what if you're not really sure how to, quantify your budget-savvy approach? Well, RoleCatcher can help you with this too.
Yeah.
So their interview practice feature lets you put in hypothetical budget scenarios.
Oh, wow.
And then it analyzes your response and gives you feedback
It's amazing.
on how effectively you balance the creative vision with the financial constraints.
So it's like having a mock interview with a producer who's also a financial whiz.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got 2 questions left.
Great.
Question number 9. How do you manage the expectations of actors during the casting process?
Ooh.
This one's tough because rejection is just part of the game.
It is. It's a tough business.
But this question is really about showing that you understand the emotional stakes involved and that you approach actors with respect and honesty, even when you have to deliver bad news.
No one likes to be the bearer of bad news.
Right.
But it's part of the job.
It is.
The key is to do it with grace and sensitivity.
So how do you set clear expectations from the start?
Yeah.
Do you give constructive feedback? Even to actors who weren't selected?
Do you follow up with actors to let them know where they stand?
And how do you handle, the actors who are maybe disappointed or angry about not getting the role?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It's really about showing that you can maintain your professionalism
Right.
while still acknowledging their feelings.
Because even though you can't give everyone a role,
Right.
you can strive to make the experience a positive one.
I like that. Okay, last question.
Okay.
How do you measure the success of a casting decision?
Oh, good question.
Now, this has got to be more than just box office numbers or awards, right?
It is, you're right, those are certainly factors,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't tell the whole story.
No.
It's about the long-term impact, you know?
Okay.
Did the actors bring depth and authenticity to their roles?
Yeah.
Did the chemistry sizzle on screen? Did the casting choices elevate the overall story?
So it's about thinking beyond just those immediate results and considering like the artistic and emotional resonance of your choices.
Exactly. And you can talk about how you use feedback and data to continuously learn and improve.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Do you solicit feedback from the director and the producers? Do you pay attention to how audiences respond to the casting?
Because it's an ongoing process, right?
It is.
A refinement.
It's all about evaluating and learning from past experiences.
So true. Okay, we just tackled 10 of the toughest casting director interview questions out there. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling ready to go.
I think so too.
Yeah, we really dissected the why behind each question.
We did.
We explored how to craft compelling answers, and we learned how RoleCatcher's AI can provide that personalized feedback and guidance.
Talk about a confidence booster.
Absolutely.
But we're not done yet. We've got a little bit more to cover from that career guide.
Oh, okay.
So stick with us. All right, so we're back, and we're going to wrap up our deep dive into, how to ace that casting director interview.
Okay.
Using RoleCatcher's resources.
Sounds good.
And, we went through a lot of those really tough interview questions.
We did.
But I think there are a few more things from that career guide that can really help you stand out.
All right.
And one thing that they emphasize is this idea that you really need to have like a deep knowledge of the entertainment industry.
Yeah, I mean, that seems kind of obvious, but it goes beyond just, knowing the latest blockbuster hits or something.
Right. It's like understanding the different genres.
Yes.
The history of film and television.
And even, being aware of like up-and-coming actors from, independent films or regional theater.
Yeah, like if you could talk about the evolution of superhero films.
Okay.
From like the campy 60s Batman
right
to the gritty realism of The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
It shows that you're not just a fan, you're a thinker.
Exactly.
And you appreciate, different styles and approaches to storytelling.
And that's really important when you're working with directors,
Yeah.
who might have very distinct visions.
Okay, so another thing that RoleCatcher mentions is understanding different acting techniques and styles.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I will admit, I don't know my Meisner from my Stanislavski, but I'm guessing this is like pretty crucial.
It is.
For assessing an actor's range.
Yeah, knowing the difference between method acting and classical training can really help you determine if an actor's style aligns with the director's vision.
Okay.
And it can even help you guide actors during the audition.
Oh, interesting.
To bring out their best performance.
So it's like, if the director wants something that's very naturalistic and improvised,
yeah,
you're probably not going to cast someone who's, trained in like Shakespearean drama.
Exactly.
It's about those subtle nuances that create a really compelling performance.
And having that knowledge shows that you're really thinking about those things.
Okay, so beyond like the artistic side, RoleCatcher also mentions some of those like less glamorous but essential skills.
Yes.
Like familiarity with, casting software.
Of course.
And databases.
You got to be tech savvy these days.
Right.
Knowing how to use casting software to organize auditions, manage submissions, create reports, that's essential.
But here's something I thought was interesting. They also talk about the importance of understanding human resources principles.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, it makes sense when you think about it.
Right.
Because you're essentially like recruiting and hiring actors.
You are.
So you need to understand contracts, negotiate fees, and even handle, potential conflicts or disputes.
It's like you're an HR manager.
It is.
For the creative world.
That's a good way to put it.
So it shows that, this role really requires a diverse set of skills.
It does.
From the artistic side to the business side.
Absolutely. And speaking of skills, let's not forget how RoleCatcher's AI tools can help you hone those skills and really present them in the best possible light.
That CV and resume builder is a game changer.
It is.
Like it can analyze your experience.
Yes.
Highlight those key words that align with the specific job descriptions, even if you haven't explicitly stated them.
I love that.
It's like having this personal branding expert working behind the scenes.
I know. It was.
And the interview practice.
Yes.
Getting that feedback on your answers, not just the content, but the delivery, the pacing, the tone of voice.
Yeah, it's like a mock interview, but without the pressure.
Exactly. So I think, as we wrap up this deep dive, the key takeaway is preparation is key.
Yes.
RoleCatcher gives you the tools and the insights to really understand the nuances of this job.
Yeah.
But it's your passion,
Yes.
your commitment.
That will shine through.
So go into that interview with confidence.
Yes, you got this.
You got this. And who knows, maybe you'll be the one who discovers the next breakout star.
That's the dream.
All right, well, that's a wrap on our deep dive into RoleCatcher's resources for aspiring casting directors.
Hope you enjoyed it.
We hope this was helpful, and we wish you all the best in your casting journey.